Well, buonasera from Rome. This is day 4, I think it is, that I've been here. And I want to tell you about this rather extraordinary day, the first day of the conclave. Started this morning with the Mass for the election of the Pope. And I went over to St. Peter's. I wasn't really intending to go because I had these obligations at NBC, but I had a little bit of time and I went down to the square and I just followed the crowds into the Basilica. It was jammed. I was able to get a little bit of a view of the cardinals coming in. I could see their miters going by and not their faces really. I listened to Cardinal Sedano's homily, and my Italian's okay. I could get maybe 2/3 of it, and then I had to go because I had an appointment with NBC. But a great thing happened during the Mass. I was standing there listening to Sedano, and this young priest next to me, a young guy in a cassock, says in a heavily accented voice, "Are you Father Robert Barron?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "I'm Father," and I forget his name now, but I'm Father so-and-so from Zagreb in Croatia. And he said, all during my years in seminary, I listened to your sermons and to Word on Fire. So that's for my Word on Fire friends back home. Realize the wonderful power that the new media have. So anyway, that was a wonderful moment. Then I came back up the hill to the NBC tent. And I'll maybe show you that tomorrow. I think we might film from there tomorrow so you can see it. And I was on for the Today Show briefly for about a 5-minute hit, as they call them. And I was talking about the two factions that have developed between the more reformers and then the Romans, they're calling them. So Matt Lauer and I talked about that. And then this afternoon and this evening, it was really an extraordinary thing because I'd never done this before, this kind of high wire act of being on live as the conclave was getting underway. And we were on the air for about an hour and 15 minutes maybe. But just to watch those beautiful scenes of the cardinals coming out of the Pauline Chapel into the Sistine Chapel as they sang the Litany of the Saints. And what I said on the air, and I'll say it now again, is that's the genius of Catholicism. That's the Catholic imagination, that the spiritual world speaks to us through the world of the physical. Physical beauty is itself a bearer of the spiritual. So it's a Catholic Church in many ways at its finest is on full display. Also mention how at the Litany of the Saints that we're calling upon the saints, that we're not just here among ourselves with our little political, maneuverings. We're invoking this higher world. We're invoking the realm of the saints and the angels to guide us. So that too, I think, is really part and parcel of the Catholic imagination. Elizabeth Lev was on with us. She's the professor of art history here, one of the great connoisseurs of the Sistine Chapel. And she said, what Father Barron just said, you can see in the Last Judgment, all those saints swirling around the central image of Christ. And so that was a kind of a wonderful opportunity, I thought, to express the Catholic imagination. One thing I was able to get in at the very end, I was pleased the last maybe minute or so, they were talking about how everybody is watching this scene. Lester Holt was the anchor. I used to be in Chicago for many years, so I watched him for many years on TV. But he said, the whole world's watching. And so I said, well, it's all because of Peter, this obscure Galilean fisherman who made his way to this city and was crucified and was buried on that spot. And we're choosing his successor. That's why the whole world is watching. So I always want to bring it back to that spiritual core, And then finally, we were up there on what they call smoke watch, which means we're just waiting. We're all wired up and waiting for the smoke to appear. So George Weigel and Lester Holt and I were there. And then suddenly the black smoke appeared. And man, there was no ambiguity about it. They've all talked about how when the smoke appears, is it white, is it black, is it gray? No one seems to know. There was no doubt. In fact, I said, I think they're burning down the Sistine Chapel. There was so much smoke pouring out. Then we just threw our 2 cents in about what this might mean and the first ballot being indecisive, et cetera, et cetera. So tomorrow I'm back on Smoke Watch at 9 a.m. Rome time. So please pray for me and pray above all for those 115 cardinals who are making this momentous decision. Keep watching. We'll give you more updates tomorrow, and God bless you all.